Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're tuning in today because we're digging into a topic that is genuinely going to change how you look at a simple afternoon stroll through your neighborhood. Today, we're uncovering a pretty wild reality. Those seemingly innocent, beautiful plants that our grandparents proudly grew in their front yards, yeah, a bunch of them are now literal federal offenses.
So, let's jump right in. Think about your own property for a second, or just look out the window. What is actually hiding in your backyard? Is it possible that your carefully curated flower bed is unknowingly harboring a botanical crime scene? I know, it sounds totally crazy, but as we unpack this explainer today, you might just realize you've been living right next door to contraband.
I want you to think about this quote. Your grandfather's victory garden wasn't just about growing food, it was about growing the right food. We all have this deeply nostalgic, patriotic image of the American victory garden, right? Families coming together, doing their part. But the modern reality is a bit darker. We've actually had to outright ban many of the crops that used to proudly sit on those dinner tables. Let's find out exactly why.
Section 1. Deadly Beauties. When aesthetics kill. We're kicking things off with stunning ornamental plants that harbor some incredibly severe and sometimes fatal toxicity.
Take the castor bean, for example. Back in the day, with its huge, dramatic star-shaped leaves, it was the absolute darling of Victorian landscaping. People loved it. It added this amazing tropical flair to gardens up north. And, people even used it medically to make castor oil. But here's the terrifying catch. Hidden right inside those glossy, pretty speckled seeds is ricin, literally one of the most deadly natural toxins known to science. As suburban neighborhoods absolutely exploded with young families after World War II, these colorful seeds that basically looked like candy to kids became an unacceptable risk. So they were quietly ripped out of yards all across America.
And then we have the giant hogweed. Now this thing looks like it was plucked straight out of a fairy tale. It towers 15 feet in the air with these massive, whimsical white flower heads. But man, it harbors a truly sinister secret. The sap of the giant hogweed actually reacts with sunlight. If you get it on you, it causes severe burns, massive blistering, and permanent scarring on human skin. We are literally talking about kids playing near a plant and ending up in the ER with injuries that look like third-degree burns. Not surprisingly, by the 1970s, it was declared an official public menace.
Section 2. The Accidental Cartel. Innocent-looking narcotics. Now we're shifting gears from toxic sap to traditional, everyday plants that have run squarely into a brick wall of modern drug policies.
The irony here is just incredibly deep. Think about beautiful opium poppies sitting peacefully in your grandmother's garden, providing seeds for baking. Well, they also contain the raw materials for heroin, or the coca plant. For millennia, it was just a modest shrub chewed in South America to fend off altitude sickness. Now, completely banned as the source material for cocaine. And it doesn't stop there. Whether it's the sacred peyote cactus used in Native American religious ceremonies, or totally standard-looking decorative hedges like khat and the betel nut palm, which carry intense stimulant, addiction, and even mouth cancer risks. Federal law frankly sees zero difference between cultural tradition and illicit narcotics.
So, here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. When ancient cultural traditions and innocent landscaping collide with zero-tolerance federal enforcement, the law wins every single time. Your good intentions, they do not matter. Under federal law, having even a single coca plant sitting in your greenhouse is treated as legal evidence of intent to manufacture drugs. It is a fascinating and kind of scary clash between cultural heritage and the reality of modern drug policy.
Section 3. The green monsters, unstoppable ecological invaders. Forget toxins and narcotics for a second. These are the fast-growing botanical monsters that are physically devouring American ecosystems.
I want you to just let this massive number sink in. 7 million. That is the number of acres in the American South right now that are completely smothered by kudzu. 7 million. Kudzu is a plant that grows up to a staggering 1 foot per day. It just swallows everything in its path. Trees, entire buildings, power lines, whole landscapes. And it's not stopping. It is continuing to spread at a rate of 150,000 acres every single year.
And then we have the Japanese knotweed. You gotta wonder, how does an edible plant become a homeowner's absolute worst nightmare? Well, the young, hollow, bamboo-like shoots are actually a tart, lemony delicacy in traditional Asian cuisine. But over here in America, it is widely known as the single most invasive plant in the world. Its roots literally burrow 10 feet deep into the ground and spread out 60 feet horizontally. It is fully capable of cracking right through concrete foundations and destroying driveways. In fact, just having this plant pop up on your property can hit you with massive fines and real lawsuits from your neighbors.
And hey, our waterways are under siege too. Aquatic invaders like water hyacinth and giant salvinia can completely choke off a lake, literally turning vibrant living waters into dead biological deserts. Down below the surface, you've got hydrilla blocking boat propellers, while the water chestnut drops these sharp spiny nuts that wait hidden in the mud like booby traps, just ready to injure swimmers. Add in water spinach spreading like wildfire and Brazilian elodea completely ruining recreation areas, and you've got a recipe for disaster. These fast-growing weeds end up costing us billions of dollars in water system damage every year.
Section 4. Good intentions, disastrous results. This brings us to the ultimate twist of our explainer today. Because honestly, the most shocking revelation isn't just that these monsters are here, it's how they actually got here in the first place.
Okay, get ready for the tragic irony of it all. The government actually paid farmers to plant these invaders. That's right. During the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, kudzu was heavily marketed as a miracle crop to stop soil erosion. And the autumn olive? Highly nutritious and heavily promoted by government agencies all through the 1950s and 60s for wildlife food and conservation. We quite literally funded the spread of our own ecological nightmares.
A perfect example of a genuinely good intention going totally rogue involves a tricky little concept called allelopathy. Basically, it's a biological phenomenon where a plant produces specific biochemicals that alter the soil to hurt other organisms. Think of garlic mustard. It was brought over by European settlers on purpose because it's a really valuable vitamin-rich spring green. But in our forests, it acts like an absolute ecological terrorist. It uses allelopathy to literally poison the soil around it, completely preventing native wildflowers from growing and throwing entire forest ecosystems into chaos. We're talking about decades of permanent damage spawned from quick fixes. We promoted the multiflora rose to create living fences and boost vitamin C during World War II, and in return, we got impenetrable, 15-foot thorny barriers that choke out everything else. The tree of heaven was planted because it offered quick shade in poor, depleted city soils. Today, it destroys concrete infrastructure and serves as the primary host for the invasive spotted lanternfly. Oh, and purple loosestrife. Once absolutely beloved by beekeepers for its vibrant color and honey production, it now aggressively crowds out native wetland habitats by dropping, get this, over 2 million seeds per plant every single year.
Section 5. Rethinking your backyard. After seeing all of this, it's pretty clear we need to completely reevaluate our relationship with the natural world just outside our doors.
If you take only one thing away from this explainer, let it be this. The perfect plant in one context can quickly become an absolute menace in another. Nature isn't just a static backdrop, it is a delicate, deeply interconnected balance. What faithfully feeds a family in one century can absolutely destroy an entire ecosystem in the next. These 20 banned plants prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that gardening isn't just about pretty backyard decoration. It is about deeply understanding the long-term impact of what we sow.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder as you step outside today. Take a really close look at those pretty vines climbing the telephone pole, or that vibrant exotic flower blooming over by the pond. What beautiful but deeply illegal invader is secretly taking root in your neighborhood right now? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes peeled out there.